it's an amazing relationship. I'm really blown away. I wish they could come to every meeting that I go to.
Well, kia ora and welcome to Microsoft ISV Chats, looking at successful ISVs and their partnership with Microsoft. Now, if you're a business that sells software to companies and you're looking for ways to transform, innovate, and accelerate growth, then this is a great opportunity to find out how you can partner with Microsoft to meet your goals. Today, we're chatting with Cin7, and with inventory management at its core, Cin7 provides growing brands with extensive out-of-the-box functionality and hundreds of native integrations in a single easy to implement, easy to use platform. And it's so nice to be chatting with the Cin7 team today. Founder Danny Ng, CEO David Leach, and Head of Partnerships Michelle Calkins. Hi guys, thanks for your time today.
Thanks for having us.
It's really nice to see you. Now, David, thanks for being on the call. We'll start with you. Tell us about Cin7. What's the nutshell version? What are you guys all about?
Cin7, unusual name, right? It stands for connected inventory. And if you think about the life cycle of products these days, when you buy in a store or online, they come from somewhere. They have to be made. They come from suppliers. They have to be stored somewhere as stock, and they need to be delivered ultimately to the end consumer. So when you think about that whole journey, we're all about connecting that product journey up and connecting the ecosystem of software apps that are pretty common these days, like in the online space, especially e-commerce, like there's Shopify and Amazon as two great examples. And by connecting the world up like that in our software, we're making it easier for our customers to sell and expand internationally. And if you were just this local store selling in a shop only, you tend to have an audience, a customer base that's local to your shop. So this really opens new horizons for our customers.
Yeah, that's great. Danny, we'll come to you next. And I've been talking to a bunch of ISVs over the last few weeks, have been blown away by some of the solutions. How did you get into this?
I've been in this internet game for it feels like a couple of decades now. So I guess when you've been with this internet thing, you get to a point where you got to reinvent yourself every 4 to 5 years. So I sort of frame it like it's the internet's like Madonna. You got to reinvent yourself every 4 to 5 years. So previously to Cin7, we were an e-commerce development company, and you get to the point where I guess you feel like a crab in the crab bucket. You know, you're working really, really hard, but you're not getting anywhere because there's so many other crabs around, sort of pulling you down or making things harder for you. So for us, the idea was, okay, what else can we do within the internet? And we looked around and we searched ourselves about what do we really, really want. And the funny thing was, is we wanted to be in San Francisco or Silicon Valley where the cool people were, you know, Google, Apple, and things like that. I thought, okay, that's what we really wanted. So we just went out there. We just want to get to San Francisco. And luckily, you know, a company, Xero, that everyone knows came along. And back then, you know, about 7 years ago, they were in and out of running out of money. And the one thing they wanted were add-ons because they didn't have time to develop everything. And the two add-ons they wanted were payroll and inventory. And inventory we knew about inventory because we were an e-commerce development company and we knew the pains of inventory, i.e. when it ran out online and you had to get refunds and things like that. So we thought, okay, and then Xero said, look, we've got an office in, you know, Sydney, New Zealand and San Francisco. And we thought, okay, this is it. We're going to do this inventory thing and hang out with Xero in San Fran. So from there, we decided, okay, what does inventory look like 5-10 years from now? And we just wrote down a whole bunch of random things that we thought could happen. You know, people are going to buy online and click in store or go to store and just get it shipped. So we looked at consumer behavior and that. We wrote down 7 things, hence the name Cin7, and it condensed down to, you know, everything needed to be connected. And and we could get a .com for it. So Cin7.com, we thought, okay, that's it. That's the name. And then from there, I guess we've just kept on that journey of trying to connect everything, and obviously inventory being its core and connecting inventory to all the various endpoints so customers get a great experience.
Yeah, that's great. And I love that too, that the internet's like Madonna. I've never heard that before, but well done. That's a great soundbite. It's obviously been super successful, and that quest to go global, which you've just explained, is such a cool journey. But I guess really when you look back on that journey. I mean, what have you learned along the way? And I guess what would you do differently that you could inspire others with?
Well, there's so much to learn, so it's hard to do anything differently because you're like you're like this monkey just pushing your fingers into a lot of sockets, and there's been a lot of painful experiences, and I don't think I would take away some of those experiences because you got to learn the hard way. But the one thing that would make my journey, you could say, easier or at least feel better from my perspective was when you start out, it's quite hard to believe in yourself. And, you know, I was, for the first part of Cin7's journey, only up until recently, I was looking for ways to model myself. Look, maybe we're like Google, maybe we're like Amazon, maybe we're like Xero. So I think what I would do differently, or what I would feel differently, is if I believed in the Cin7 journey just throughout the whole process, as opposed to trying to look for other people we could be. So I think with every piece of software out there, you have a unique journey, and I think it's good to learn from other companies and other people. But I think for the most part, you just got to believe in your journey and just understand you are a little bit unique and be okay with that. So it just, at least for me, it just helps this endless suffering of, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? So you should just tell yourself, yes, I'm doing the right thing. Learn from other people and just, just push on, believing in your own journey.
Yeah, isn't retrospect a wonderful thing? Looking back at it now, though, I mean, what do you think really have been some of the keys to your success as a company?
Well, I think that the first key, although it sounds a bit cheesy, was the road to San Francisco. We needed to get to San Fran. And that was a metaphor for, we just had to give, or I guess the American market, the market that we're focused on, what they wanted, just so we could be invited in. It wasn't, we didn't see America was something that we just go in there and go, hello, please buy our stuff. We wanted to be invited in. So I guess that was one of the keys. We wanted to try things that we believed that the American market wanted. And then with a series of attempts, have them gradually want our product because they really needed it. So I reckon that's one of the main successes we had. And it's hard from New Zealand to do things that another market wants. But that was our main focus. So I think if you want to end up obviously being in America and obviously being acquired by an American company or an American VC, that really has to be your number one focus. You have to be the number one product in that market. Even though you're based in New Zealand and maybe a lot of your staff don't quite understand that market, you've just got to try things that you think, okay, I believe the American market wants this, and I'm just going to do it and see if they want it. And it's a version of, I guess, the movie Dumber and Dumber, when they go to the bar and put out the vibe. So we think, okay, we're going to do this thing. I don't know if they're going to like it, but we're going to do it, and then put out the vibe and see if they actually want it. So it's not a very technical process, but that's sort of what we did.
That's great. Well, it's a great movie. So you had me, that's for sure. Give us an example, because your solution has just been so key for retailers, especially in that evolution from storefront to online. Give us an example of how you've seen that work for companies.
Well, yes, so one of the examples, like an American thing that obviously New Zealanders may not understand. So we from America, from New Zealand, was Amazon. This is like 7 years ago. We thought, okay, well, I think these Americans like buying from Amazon, and they like watching Amazon Prime. So we thought, okay, we're just going to be the number one integrated inventory system to Amazon, and Amazon is very complex integration. So knowing very little bit about Amazon and Amazon Prime, we thought, okay, we're going to do this. And obviously it didn't make a lot of sense to the staff in New Zealand there. Why would we focus so much on Amazon? So, and we started early, and it took quite a few years to understand Amazon and integrate into it. But as we sort of got into Amazon, one of the things that happened was Amazon came to Australia, and for us, all of a sudden, we understood this platform called Amazon, and we had a few customers in America that were using us. But I guess it really took off when Amazon came to Australia, and people, I guess, in Australia realized, okay, I think we need to get on this Amazon thing. And Cin7 was one of those products, based locally, that understood that market. So yeah, so we've got a lot of customers that have realized recently that I think we need to get on with Amazon, not just have our own e-commerce platform. So you could say that we're helping, not even though we're focused on America, we're helping New Zealand and Australian customers to come to realize, look, these marketplaces are here to stay, and you need to jump on those.
Well, we're going to play a video now, actually, as an example of exactly this. And it's one of Cin7's customers, Steens, that sells honey online, and they're able to connect into Amazon. And it's a crucial business, a crucial part of what they do in their business. Take a look at this.
It's a lot of repetition and just keeping at it and learning from your mistakes and knowing what the outcome is that you're after and then driving for that outcome.
Being able to plug into Amazon and the American network or the European network means we can reach several hundred million consumers quite easily. We're taking honey to the world, bees to Amazon.
Fantastic stuff. Let's go to you now, Michelle. You've recently joined the firm. And again, it's a time when we're under pressure from yet another global financial crisis. I'm going to ask you about how you adapt as a company to changes like this. And what are you seeing at the moment?
Yeah, it's definitely a very interesting time to have joined. Cin7 started our expansion into the US market this year. And certainly the team has faced an unprecedented global pandemic. It's not something you can predict when you are joining a new force to bring a company into America. We are all extremely excited. I think the key has been, from a team perspective, staying very focused and staying very aligned with our customers. We are hearing so many stories of pivots and changes and customers doing extremely flexible and adaptive things to make the best of a really hard situation. And that, I think, has been the core of where we're trying to focus and get our inspiration from. Beyond that, our goal is still US expansion. So the show must go on, and we are staying heads down in terms of the kinds of initiatives that we're leaning into to really build the Cin7 brand in America. Our backstory is fantastic. So many Americans want to go to New Zealand for vacation. It's on their bucket list. We've all seen the Hobbiton Village. And so I think the story is very impactful when we talk about the New Zealand evolution. From there, we're also looking a lot at how do we respond and how do we be supportive and how do we be creative for the second half of this year. And so I don't think we have all the answers. I think we're doing a lot of really good work as a team. But beyond that, I think, like I said, global pandemic, how do you prepare for it? Another key area that we've really been focused on, beyond making sure that our customers have support and can adapt, is helping them move on to online marketplaces. The evolution from brick and mortar stores to online is one that's being accelerated even more quickly in today's pace, in today's environment. And so with that, we're really leaning into our partnerships to make sure that customers know what their available options are. It's really scary to think about taking your brick and mortar store online for the first time, and Cin7 is uniquely positioned to help that journey be easier. We have the most marketplace integrations of pretty much any company that you're going to find. They're also native integrations, so from a product perspective, a huge win for our customers. Beyond that, we've also been really fortunate to be partnering with Microsoft. We just had a 60,000 impression campaign that we ran from a brand perspective to get the word out that we are here. And so I think it's about being flexible, being adaptive, coming in as the US team and joining a really strong foundation out of New Zealand is exciting. It's a privilege, and it's something that we're taking super seriously, knowing that the global climate is one that no one could have predicted this happening. And so we're trying to stay inspired and stay focused and just stay action oriented.
And the Cin7 solution really does help organizations, businesses to do exactly that, doesn't it? It ensures that the teams have clarity and the power to make decisions. And we want to show you a video now of just what that solution looks like and how it manifests for these companies. Take a look.
The first thing you see when you log into Cin7 is the home dashboard. This can be set up according to a user's role. Managers and business owners may use the dashboard to track monthly and quarterly sales, purchases and inventory, and information about their multiple sales channels such as Shopify and Amazon. Click on a channel to see details about recent orders, order status, and product activity. Cin7 identifies any problems with orders and ways to fix them. The dashboard provides a lot of useful at-a-glance information. For example, many Cin7 customers use the Sales by Location feature to budget marketing campaigns according to their hottest markets and sales locations. And businesses with multiple locations can track sales by branch, from monthly totals right down to daily sales orders.
Fantastic. We'll come to you next, David. As an ISV, do you approach things differently to support your customers? And are you seeing changes in the behavior of your customers?
I guess how I think about this is we're a software company and a software as a service software company in the cloud. So we think about the fact that we build software, we sell software, we deliver software, and we support the software. But the customer is key for us. As much as possible, we're trying to be customer-centric in our thinking and partner with them. Much like we partner with Microsoft and other vendors, how can we partner with our customer to help them thrive and grow?
Yeah, that's great. Michelle, do you have anything to add about that?
Yeah, I think when we look at the overall customer ecosystem right now, the challenges that they are facing are ones that we really do believe that inventory management is crucial in terms of being able to impact and being able to pivot quickly, maintain what sales you can, and enter into new markets. Just like we're going from New Zealand into the US market right now, a lot of our customers are looking at where can they sell their products, how can they expand their businesses. And so that focus and that flexibility is something that our product is uniquely positioned to deliver, and something that we're really proud of, especially given the climate that we're in right now.
How has Azure been useful to your company, and again, that partnership with Microsoft?
Yeah, I think something that, especially in the climate that we're in right now, we can all appreciate is the ability to scale. And something that when we look at being in the retail space is not only impactful for our customers, but is super impactful for us, is the ability to scale our platform. And so partnering with Azure and having the ability to scale, especially around things like Black Friday or in the States, Amazon Prime Day, they're just business critical for us to be able to serve our customers and make sure that our business has the back-end infrastructure that it needs. I think Danny and David can probably tell a little bit more of the story in terms of how we landed where we are today. But from a scale perspective and a future perspective, there's a lot of credibility that comes, especially for US customers, to know that our back-end is hosted on Azure.
They call that the golden quarter, that last few months of the year when there's a huge spike in e-commerce and online sales. And so we see this massive spike in the traffic on our infrastructure, and Microsoft have done a great job partnering with us to make sure that we safely navigate that. And there's more work we want to do. We have ambition to have a much larger customer base, and so to do that, we need to safely scale our whole business. And like Michelle said, we need to scale our infrastructure in the cloud, and really like Microsoft's approach to partnering. And the conversations we have with Microsoft tend to start with us rather than Microsoft, if you know what I mean, and around what are our challenges, what are our goals, and how can Microsoft back into that and support us.
Can you talk to us a little bit about smaller stores and particularly those who are looking for cloud solutions? How is Cin7 primed to help businesses like that?
Yeah, so because we're a SaaS platform and because we're remote, we could be sitting here on our laptop at home and be managing your inventory. I think traditionally it's a little bit intimidating to think that you're going to take perhaps your desktop computer from your storefront and start moving that into an online business. Getting those tools set up, getting those integrations completed can seem really overwhelming. Something that we've focused on is making sure that the integration pieces are easy to do from anywhere that you are. So you'll see that someone could be running their business from their house. Maybe their employees are all remote right now. And that's where we think that having the ability to be connected, having connectivity at the core of what we've built as a product is really crucial for teams that might not be able to interface daily right now. We have customers who are shipping out of their houses. We have stories where they have maybe one employee going to their warehouse to get shipments out, and the team can still be connected. They can still see where inventory is. Another really key piece here is there have been a lot of supply chain impacts. So knowing where your inventory is, knowing if you're having shipping delays, and being able to let your customers know and communicate with them, as well as communicate with your suppliers, is really crucial for businesses to be able to navigate the COVID dynamic that we're in. Beyond that, I think we're really focused on helping those small stores who are trying to turn brick and mortar into online. And our implementation team, have been working around the clock to make sure that pivot happens quickly. We have just the best stories coming out of businesses who maybe thought about going online for years. They didn't take the plunge. And this in some ways is really helping them access a new customer base. When you think about a storefront, you have a limited way to get supplies out to your most popular fans if they're not in the same city as you or they don't live close by. And so we do believe that the evolution to e-commerce and the evolution for customers to be able to buy your products on the internet is something that having the visibility, having the insight into where your inventory is will only make this an easier transition for businesses and help them make ultimately more revenue at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's great. We've got a video to play now about that exact move into e-commerce. Michelle, do you want to intro this video? Tell us a bit about what we're going to see.
Yeah, so Danny mentioned earlier that one of his main focuses was Amazon and the Prime experience. I am the quintessential Prime user almost, I won't say every day, but it sometimes feels like that. I have a Prime box in my house. And so for our customers, they're starting to look and say, am I selling on the right marketplaces? Is there an untapped area that I can start connecting into? Having those connections is a core of our business. We have over 450 integrations that customers have access to, which gives them the ability to pivot their business quickly, figure out what their strongest sales channel is, and match that with their best buyers and their best customers. So this next video is going to walk through all of those connections, and it's certainly not exhaustive. So if there's something that's not there, reach out and Danny is there for you.
Cin7 integrates with all major e-commerce platforms, marketplaces, popular accounting solutions, and a huge list of retailer integrations with built-in EDI. With built-in EDI, suppliers can process orders from major retailers and Amazon vendor without the excess cost and admin complication of a third-party EDI provider. We also integrate with many 3PL warehouses worldwide. We integrate with shipping solutions, sales and marketing software, inventory planning tools, and so much more. If there's a retailer or 3PL warehouse you want to integrate with, let us know and we'll set it up.
So good. Dave, I'm going to come to you next. Coming in as CEO, very big shoes to fill, obviously, and Cin7 already been so successful. How do you approach this next season as the CEO?
Yeah, I joined in September last year, just a month before we were acquired by a US-based private equity firm, Rubicon Technology Partners. And I must say, I've really enjoyed it. Really enjoy the team. First and foremost, I think the team, the makeup of the team, and some amazing new talent we're hiring, such as Michelle, is a really great part of the journey. I really want to enjoy the journey, and I want our whole team to enjoy the journey. Danny talked about a belief in the early days of Cin7, and if he had his time again, could he actually have more self-belief as a business? And I think that's what we've got. I think we have a great sense of mission. We believe in what we do. We really want to help our customers and partner with them to continue to grow and thrive. And I think about those things. So think about how can we partner better with our partners? How can we partner better with our customers? And give our team careers and give our team challenges and opportunities on the journey ahead.
I guess it's having a really deliberate dream about where you want to head as well. And it sounds like you always sort of knew where you wanted the company to go.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's so much of it is, you could say, a little bit of ego, you know. So it's almost like we want to go and slay the US dragon, and you know, it's like we wanted to almost. Sorry for those Americans out there. We want to beat the Americans at their game. We wanted, you know, New Zealand as a small company to pretty much formulate an NBA team and go to the US and beat the US in basketball. So we think. Well, I see, you know, Cin7 is like that. We've got a whole bunch of talented people in New Zealand. How can we do something, you know, build a team and then go to the US and sort of beat them at their game? So, yeah, I guess that's sort of the ego or the part of it that I would like to achieve, because I believe New Zealand has so many talented people that they shouldn't look at they just shouldn't look at other markets like the US and be too awe-inspired. I think there's a lot we can do as a country. Although we're small, we've got a lot of smart people. And hopefully, Cin7 is at the end of it, if we can achieve that, if we can, muster our resources here in New Zealand, go to America, and I would say beat them at their game, because inventory is a very, very American game. So, yeah, that's the one thing I would like to achieve from Cin7 as well.
Yeah.
You've gone from strength to strength in a very short period of time. How do you prepare a team for that? Is there a secret way of doing this? Have you learned things along the way?
Good question. I think we do continue to grow. It's a bit about what Danny said earlier. Like even today, we think about where is the puck going? What's our long game? What are the outcomes we're seeking over the next 3 to 5 years? And then sort of think backwards from that. That helps give a lot of clarity to what do you need to do today in terms of building the team, but what do you need to do in other things as well? So what is in a zero-based design, in a way, try not to think about the past, that if you could have the perfect team today for what you need to achieve over the next 3 to 5 years, what does that look like? That type of mentality has helped us a lot.
Danny, would you add anything to that?
Yeah, I think that the team is, it's always giving them a sense of direction. That's the number one thing for any team. And obviously, I think Dave has done a great job. He just communicates all the time. Me personally, I don't communicate half as much as I should. So I guess having the right people, like David and like Michelle, that really like to communicate, and you can never over communicate. So that's one thing that really helps. And we do communicate to the staff very often about what we're doing, just to make sure they stay in line and to make sure that, that they stay informed about what we're doing. And I think that really helps.
Yeah, alignment's good. Like it's this message of we're going to the NBA, guys. Let's not get distracted by other countries at the moment. Yeah, maybe we want global domination like many software companies in the long run. But right now, like our goal is we want to win America. And actually, I think it's a pretty common goal for ISVs in New Zealand. If software companies really thought about it, they tend to be more successful first in Commonwealth countries. But actually, the big one they want to crack is America. And I love the NBA analogy.
Yeah, absolutely. The dream team. Michelle, anything to add to that?
I would just say that coming from the other side of the pond, sitting in the American team, it's interesting to hear perspectives of how the New Zealand team views coming to America. Like I said, I think New Zealand is such a destination, feels quite far away for people who are in the States. And I think it actually holds the glamour and a sense of mystery that you just don't hear of a lot of tech companies coming out. And so I think for the US market in particular, it's a great story to tell. It's one that, like I said, we're lucky that Microsoft has leaned in and is helping us to build some of that brand awareness and start telling our story. Because when we think about the team that's in New Zealand backing this group of 9 people in the States, we have a really strong, we won't even call it a bench because they're certainly the starters if we keep with the basketball analogy. But I think when we look at the team and the communication and the fact that we've had an investment into this company to really focus on the US, it's a chance that a lot of companies don't get. And that's something that from the team perspective is not only it's a big weight to carry, it's a lot of pressure, but it's one that we're all extremely excited about. And I think from the leadership perspective, being able to have a very clear focus and a very clear rally cry that we are going to capture the US market. We know that the product is in the right spot. We know that we can outperform on our integrations. And from an implementation and a support perspective, we have a fantastic team supporting our customers. What more could you want when you're looking at capturing a new market? And I think the feeling of New Zealand coming to the States, it's exciting, and it's not a story that we're hearing a lot. And so when we're talking about telling a new story and having impact, it's one that I think it's going to be a really good story to tell. Hopefully in 5 years, we're all we're all sitting back looking at the road to San Francisco, which moved to the road to Denver. And we're happy to be here. And I think Denver maybe is going to be the new Silicon Valley. And I don't think Danny will be too bummed that he's not heading to California because he gets ski slopes instead of surfing.
We'll come to you, David, for the final question. Cin7 is a company that has pivoted well, and as Danny explained early in the interview, you're like Madonna, really. You've been able to reinvent yourself. What's next for the company? Where do you see it going?
Oh, well, besides, like, it's a software company, so at the heart is our product. And so when we think about our product, there's some things we're working on now to make it better looking. Put a bit of makeup on it, improve the UX, UI. But the future really is, like many software companies, making the software smarter and deliver more value for its users. How can the software be a decision support tool? How can it give real-time insight into that whole product journey? So if you're a business owner, it actually can be quite complicated when you've got customers in lots of countries and you connect it up to lots of different marketplaces. And then you've got lots of different suppliers as well for your products. So it's how can our software provide the all-seeing eye over all of that and give them real-time insights? And if we can do a good job of that and help them do it simply and easily, so it's not too complicated and clunky, then it's going to really help them grow their business and have a really good eye on what's happening in their business.
Yeah, your story as a company is such a cool one, from Te Puke to San Francisco and beyond, and the future looks incredibly bright. Founder of Cin7, Danny Ng, CEO David Leach, and Head of Partnerships, Michelle Calkins. Thank you so much for your time, guys.
Thank you, Luke.
Thanks, Luke. Thank you.
Really nice to talk to you, and thanks for joining us on another Microsoft Chats.